right. How are you?
I am good. It's been like, I think about 3 months since we were together last.
And we cut it short.
It was really short. I can always tell when I need to come back for a trim because the back gets a little heavy and it does this little flip up thing with my shoulders.
Tatum came in, her hair was like a little bit longer. It was longer than this.
Yeah,
it was like safe bob area.
Yep.
And I convinced her to cut her hair short to like her chin. I thought it would look amazing, face shape wise, everything lifestyle wise. I just thought it was gonna be great. This is like the grow out after 3 months and it still looks good, but the problem is now is like she's feeling like a little heavy back here. The biggest thing that I was trying to accomplish with her hair is not only like a good like solid haircut, but also balance and symmetry as far as like thickness here, and this is thin in here, so you don't wanna make this look any thinner, you wanna make it look full. Did that help a lot?
Totally. You know, I do like to curl my hair a lot and the way it was cut, it just made it lay like really nice.
I love that. I love that. A good haircut should last for months, you know?
Yeah, I could have waited, but you know, I've got a lot of things coming up next month, so I was like, let's just get in and get it cleaned up.
I love that. I'm glad that you took the risk at go short.
No, I loved it.
Some people can't go that short. You have like the full spectrum of like going from short to long. What do you want to do today? Are you wanting to go back to your chin or you want to keep it on the longer? I feel like you're wanting to keep it on the longer.
I mean, you know, I was gonna see what you thought. I enjoy it a little bit shorter in the back.
Yeah.
Kind of thinking maybe like a little blunt, choppy situation. Will that work if I try to put some like bend and like curls in it? Because again, I don't want that like mushroom effect.
For me, I'm all about you having like a blunt line. I don't want to go crazy on cutting into this. If I cut into this, it'll balance that out. That's why this grew out great, was because we cut a good line. Right? And then you shaped throughout. Totally into that with cutting it more blunt. We'll soften it in here. I feel like you should go up like, not to the chin this time, but like more to like the middle. So maybe take off like 1.5 inches. I don't know if you should go longer in the front because you don't really have longer in the front because these are shorter. Plus, if you go longer in front, this ends up looking less than. It's not a full like straight line. So more square works with you better than something that would go like more A-line, because this just gets less as you go longer.
It is much thinner in the front.
The shorter you go with it, the fuller you go with it in that square line. This becomes more full. If that's what you're into, and I think like for me, I think that would be the best look over trying to go longer in the front. It'll be like what we kind of did before, like soft. Like you didn't even notice that I even put like layers really in it.
It was perfect. So I'm good.
Perfect.
Good with that.
We're gonna do 3 sections, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Find her part. I always try to keep them on their original part. What happens is if you do part somebody's hair on a different part, most likely they're gonna go back to their old part. And I don't follow the trends of like middle is it because it makes you look younger or anything like that. Parts work different for everybody and they don't always work for people. Don't try to force a part because it sometimes just doesn't work. The 2 in the front, 1, 2, then this is your 3rd. And then what you're gonna do is take horizontal sections all the way up. Super easy. If you part in section more than I do, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think that for me, simple is always more, and that's how I always looked at it. You want their head always down. Say like a client walks out and they go like this and you see all this stuff coming out of that line. That's usually because you didn't put their head down like that. With her head down like this, it makes it a lot better and cleaner when she pops up. We're gonna cut her line into a concave shape, which concave is basically almost like an upside down U. Why we're gonna do that is because when her head comes up, it'll be square straight across. If I cut this straight across and her head was down, it would actually go into a U. We're not cutting much off, about 1.5 inches corner to corner. I go from the right corner to the left, it's just easier for me. And I use my hands to actually press the hair down after I've combed it. You want the line to be nice and clean. And remember, this is the rough. You're always gonna have to go back and refine at the end. So don't worry if it's not perfect. I'll show you that when I blow dry it. Next section, we're gonna keep this nice and blunt and all one length. Everything is going against the skin. Again, my finger is going against the hair, pushing it down. I go past the second knuckle sometimes. I'm not perfect, I know that's the rule, but hey, I don't really follow all the rules. This gets easier with practice, so don't worry if this is hard for you from going corner to corner like I do. I've just found this to be the easiest way for me. Whatever works for you, do that, that's cool. I don't ever say that's right or wrong, but that is the shape that you're going for. You want to be able to see your guide from the previous cut. If you can't see your guide, make sure that you can. Make your section less with hair. It always makes it easier. You will always have to go back and do more. Do not try to cut corners. It's just not the way to do it. Now that we're about we're at the ear area. What you're gonna do is instead of going against the skin, you still can go against the skin if you want. But what I'm gonna do is, because I wanna elevate it just a little bit, and it's not gonna graduate it. So I think a lot of people think like, oh my God, it's gonna graduate her hair right there. It just adds a little bit of softness to it, which I actually really want. When we're elevating it, basically taking it off the skin and into my hands. So it's gonna like give a little bit of softness to it. So you just follow your guide with that. See how nice that line is? Sometimes I'll go through, I'll just check it really quick and just make sure everything looks good. See right there? Kind of clean that up and just point cut that. Not a deep point cut, just enough to just refine. Like I said, there is no perfection in a haircut, in my opinion. I always just go off of visually looking at things, and I am OCD, so I will check and make sure, like right now I'm having a moment with this and thinking that this side is a little bit longer, and it is. I literally could sit here and refine for hours. Sometimes you just have to you just have to stop. It will work itself out, I promise. So you're gonna do the same thing from here on out, all the way up to the top of the head.
Tell us how we met Miss Tatum.
So Tatum.
My daughter actually suggested that I come see Dom for a good bob haircut.
Yep, because we cut Liv's hair first.
Yes.
She showed me a picture and I was like, she is the cutest human ever. And she has a bob. And so then we called you.
Yeah, you had another appointment with somebody else.
Yeah.
Not gonna say names, but you did.
It was in desperate need of a good
That
cut.
is so funny. I grew up when I was learning how to cut hair just by watching and doing. I kind of learned as I went. I think that was the scary part about teaching, was I knew what I was doing, I just didn't know what the terminology was. I knew the why behind why I was doing things because I knew how things fell and I knew what it did. Don't feel bad if you don't know terminology. It's not the end of the world. All right, same thing, going off this finger trick, right? Back of the neck, grab, pull that down, elevate it a little bit. Everything from that top of that ear up is gonna be softened anyway. Don't worry about it not being all one length, because that's not what we're going for. We are layering and we are softening. So we already established everything with the back. This is what it's looking like. Now we're gonna start going into the sides. Probably the hardest part, I think, which most people ask me a lot of questions about. What do you do with the ear area, right? A lot of people will tap, boom, cut. I don't love that. It's not my thing. It doesn't work for me. Like I said, it's what works for you. What I do, first I take a little section from the behind the ear, following the guide from the back. So I bring this straight down and I just cut that right across. This is gonna be my guide now going into the front. Ear-wise, you have to be careful with ears. She has like the perfect ear. It's like very flat to her head. Some people that have bigger ears, be a little bit more cautious of like what you're doing with that. If you do pull this down with too much tension, this will pop up when you blow dry that and when it air dries. But you wanna be careful. You wanna give it not much tension when you're doing this. I'm barely even touching the hair right now. And then I let go and I just glide through that, going straight across. Next section. Your sections aren't very big, so about like an inch, inch and a half. You don't wanna go bigger than that because you do wanna see your guide. Same thing, make sure that you're combing this out fully. There's my guide, cut that straight across. Don't worry if it does have like a little bit of an angle anyway. You're gonna go back and refine all of this. Give yourself some slack. If you feel like you wanna cut this a little bit longer, you can. Sometimes I do that because my right side is always longer than my left side. For some reason. I don't know why. I can't tell you. I've been doing this forever. I can't figure out the problem. I'm sure somebody will tell me. Last section, I'm just following this all the way through. Boom. Now you're done with the front. And there you go. If I feel like one side is longer than the other, I wait to blow dry it because sometimes I've had that where I'm like, oh wow, that side's a little longer, and then I'll cut this shorter, and then all of a sudden when I blow dry, it's like this is actually wasn't longer, and then I'm going back and forth and refining forever, and then all of a sudden she's here. So I always just try to let the front stay. The back is the most important thing. If this is not even, this will not be even, the front. So I always make sure that the back is even. No tension. Next section. Following your guide right there, boom. Next section. We're going a little faster just because I took you through the one on the other side. That's probably why this one's gonna be longer. We'll see. What we're gonna do is a little bit of a face frame. I'm gonna go from the back of the ear forward. We're gonna establish the guide. I'm gonna go off the part, take a little piece. Be careful, some people have less hair on one side than the other, or it's broken or it's not. I'm not taking too much off. I just do a straight across line and I'll cut into it just a little bit just to soften it. But that's gonna be the start, right? So first, pulling all of this from the back of the ear forward. You're over directing everything forward. So what's gonna happen is when I cut this, it's gonna cascade back and be soft. This works for long hair, this works for short hair, it works for everyone's hair. So what you're gonna do is instead of going straight across, which is gonna make that a lot less. I want there still to be fullness right here, so I'm actually gonna carve this out and try to leave it as long as possible through here. So this is your shortest point, going longer as you go back, and it cascades to be soft. So if I would have went straight across, I would have taken all of that weight out in there, which leaves less right there, which I don't want for her. I want her to have fullness in that front area. Next side, combing all of that out, flipping, over directing it like that, right? Same thing, I'm gonna carve it out. So this one section is all you're really cutting, and the same thing on this side. It's like you're only really cutting this section, but try to pull out as much as you can to see if more pulls in, but like usually it doesn't. We've established the face frame now, that nice little upside down V, right, or A shape. Right now this is all the rough, so everything's really heavy, blunt, no shape. Now we're gonna blow dry it, and I'm gonna show you how I cut into it as I go. This is way faster, and you'll see the difference of like how quickly I can get through it. So what I'm doing is I just went through just real quick with just a nice little smooth blow dry with a boar bristle brush, and then I just kind of like look at everything. It's hard sometimes to get it perfect. Sometimes you blow dry, they have calyx. Don't worry about it. I just kind of snip away at it just to make sure everything looks good. You'll see more as you blow dry, and I'm not gonna start cutting into it just yet because this is where I want it to be full and heavy. I'm gonna start cutting into it either the next section or the section after that. Cutting into it is more visual for me. I'm very visual with what's going on with their hair. I don't really go off of like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. I just go off of visually seeing if it's heavy over here, take some of it out of here. If it's light there, leave it alone. You want balance and symmetry with the way you cut into hair as well. You don't want to just cut into hair just because you saw somebody doing it. If you don't know the why of it, don't do it. Otherwise, you're going to be screwing things up, or try it and learn from that experience. That's how I learned. So now you can see the line starting to shape nice and full and heavy, which is great. But what I'm doing right now is putting my comb through it just to see if it's even as far as a straight line, and it is. So with these shears, I'm just gonna go through and soften just a tiny bit, 25%. I don't wanna soften it too much. Still nice and full. Next section. Be careful with the previous sections that you've cut into. Know and remember where you were cutting into, because you will create holes, which you don't want. Always remember that. Flat iron just a piece because I want this to be super smooth and straight. This helps me to see everything as far as the line. The line is really good, but there's still, I'm such a perfectionist with this stuff. I just want to make sure that it's even better. So now that's what we got going. We previously cut into underneath, but I want to soften that line a little bit. So this section I can cut into a little bit more. I don't go straight across. I'm just kind of almost like a point cut. Make sure your scissors are sharp, and also make sure that you are closing your shears 100%, not leaving those things halfway to pull hair out. That's what causes hair to frizz, which a lot of clients are scared of because that's what's happened with them. So make sure when you go in to cut out, cut out, cut out, cut out. It's just getting softer as we go through. And you noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but I started here and I just started working my way down as I was softening. Now, if you look at the line, it's just nice and soft. Remember that we're going for softness with the back because the heaviness is here. That's where all of her heaviness lies. We're trying to balance it with the front through the whole haircut. Balanced. Another pass with the flat iron just to see everything again. Like I said, I like a nice clean line, and I want you guys to see as I cut into it what it looks like. You can see the heaviness, all that heaviness right there is what we're trying to get rid of. We're gonna pull about half of from the back of the ear to the middle of the head right there, not the last section, right? Get that out of the way. You are going to cut into this in a pretty good amount. That was super heavy. You have a lot of hair back there.
I do, it's insane.
Yeah. As you see, I'm going down as I'm cutting it. I'm not continuing to cut up here. Look how nice that looks now. It's not heavy, softness to it. That elevation, that really nice line, but elevated just a little bit from cutting against my finger. That little detail makes it so this is nice and soft against their neck, and it's not just this heavy broomstick. We're not going for broomsticks here. There's 2 more sections, 1 more section now that we're about to blow out, but we blew out this last section. I'm not gonna pull this out and cut into it like that, because now I actually wanna start layering it just a tad, just for her to have some kind of movement throughout her hair. You're just taking a small section right in the middle. You've already cut into all of this. So what I'm gonna do, pull that up. This is where I'm gonna start layering, and I'm using my thinning shear, and I'm just taking the weight out, but I'm also layering it as I go. Those pieces are a little shorter. Now you have a little bit of movement in that area. So you're gonna go to the next section, go all the way up to where you see where you've cut into already, and watch my fingers as they slide through, and I layer it visually. I don't have like a guide because this was already cut into and soft. I visually look at it because you don't need to cut too much out. Boom, that's what you're gonna cut into right there. Leave that alone. Still a little heavy, so I'm just kind of going in and just cutting through it just a little bit just to soften it even more. So this is what it should look like now. One little area is still a little heavy over here. As you can see right there, it's a little heavy, so I'm just gonna take that. There you go. So now she has that nice softness there, and then she also has some movement throughout here. It's not just like a heavy, heavy line. It's all about the details in a haircut. Literally, you could just cut this straight across and just let her go about her day. I'm sure it could work, but the detail, and for me, is everything that makes a haircut amazing, rather than just like an okay haircut. At the crown section, we're just popping a nice little small roller. Start at kind of at the top, wrapped in there, right? Make sure it's got like tension. Make sure you blow dry it. It has a little bit of heat to it. It will help lock this in. Roll it down as you go, and then clip with the hair. These small clips are amazing because they don't crease the hair. Makes it super easy to lock them in. You sometimes don't even need a clip. The Velcro is super nice and grips really good, but also makes it easy to come out as well. So these aren't difficult rollers that you're sitting there pulling your hair out with. If you look at the diameter, the sectioning is not more than the diameter of the roller, right? The length of it is the same thing. So I'm not going past these 2 ends of the roller. This is perfection right there, if you can try to keep them from end to end on the roller. If you go past it and you're wondering why you're pulling your hair out or it's hard to get out, that's why. Oh, I blew out the sides of the hair first because I'm mohawking the middle with rollers. I want volume. You struggle with volume on the top, right? Yep. Sides, I feel like you're good.
Yeah.
The top is the hardest, right? We're gonna pop maybe 3 or 4 rollers on the mohawk section, and then we'll go from there. I'm trying to balance it out all the way so it's not bending underneath. You want it to be clean. There's always gonna be like flyaways, like see all the flyaways right now? Just fine. But you just wanna make sure that the sections are clean so nothing's getting caught, right? Last roller. It's all about like control. You try to make it as clean as possible. Boom. So now it's all clean. 1, 2, 3, 4. These things are amazing, and we'll give her the lift that she's looking for. So we're gonna let these sit for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna layer it a little bit to connect everything to the back, and then kind of refine the front a little bit. I could probably refine it right now. I need to make sure that the line is nice and clean. See, it's a little bit on the angle, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut that straight across, and then I'm just gonna let it fall, and then I'm gonna cut the rest of it, just so like when she does it herself, it just has that nice, look at that, look how nice that is. That's what you're looking for, is a nice clean line. Now she has a nice line all the way throughout her hair.
Wow.
I used to just cut hair and just be like, yeah, I don't know what that does, and it would just fall. I'd be like, wow, probably don't do that again. You have to know the why. Like anyone can just like cut what they saw, but if you don't know the why of why you're cutting into it, and they leave, they're gonna be like, wait, why did you do that to my hair? Because it doesn't do anything. So you wanna know another little trick too? How to know if your haircut's even. Head, so yeah, sit up straight, butt all the way back. Put your head back. These lines, if these match up neck to neck on both sides, then it's even. Client-wise or stylist-wise, that's how you can always check. All right, so let's pull out the rollers. When you have just the mohawk, it looks a little funky because everything else is like pretty straight. It's gonna have a lot of bounce to it, I'll just say that. The unroll and twist, like butter. Boom, look at that. You have this right now, which is very straight, and then you have this now that is very voluminous. Wow. Now, what I have to do, remember we layered the back in here, right? We'd already softened everything. As you can see that this is almost disconnected. So now I'm just gonna go in, and don't worry, it's not gonna take away from your volume. Everything's gonna fall a little bit, so don't worry. I'm just connecting this so this all blends. And this is still from the back of the ear forward. That slide with your fingers through, and you're just gonna go through section through section. This side's already good. I'm gonna check it really quick. Look at that volume that she has now. Look at that. Small rollers. Right now, this is gonna be your check if it's even. So it's somewhat, right? Let's take that out right there. This is all even in here. You are all good. Now I'm gonna show you how I connect the back to the front, making the front full still. So this is the secret. You're gonna take all of this and you're gonna pull all of this up, okay? Everything that's gonna fall out is gonna fall out. Do not worry, you're not gonna miss anything if you have this whole section in there. All the way straight up. I'm not gonna go straight across. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go at a concave shape and I'm gonna make it go from short to long. So you leave this basically a little bit shorter and it cascades forward softly. I'm taking a section from the back and everything from the front, part where her part is, pulling this straight up. Don't worry about what falls out, because what falls out is gonna be your line anyway. Okay, you're not cutting into the line at all. There's your guide right there, concave shape, and you just go all the way up as you go. So you've softened all of this, but in here, it's heavy. Let's pull this out just a little bit. I'm not gonna soften it too much, but I just wanna blend a little bit of it. So you just go in, take just a little bit out of the ends, and voila. Look at that. Same thing I did on this side. Take the whole section from the front, a little bit from the back, so you can see the softness that's in here, as you can see. You're just gonna cut into it just a little bit, and now you are complete.
Wow. I love that. What a difference.
Yeah. We'll give you a pack.
I have rollers at home, but they don't do this. So.
We are coming to an end. So sad, yet so good. We've cut it, we've layered it, we've face framed it, we've softened all throughout. We threw some rollers, we blow dried this really nice. It's nice and smooth. We did a little mohawk section for the volume that you can see that she has right now. And we're gonna take the texture spray, my texture spray, and we're just gonna lightly go through. I'm gonna build this, and I'm gonna use some other products as well to give it the look that I'm kind of going for. Tatum has like such beautiful hair. It's funny when people are like, oh, I have fine hair, it doesn't do anything. Tatum has fine hair.
Yeah.
It's doing something. Don't worry, you just need the right haircut and you need the right products and the right tools to make that happen. I mean, look how good this looks.
Wow.
Who would have thought, huh? You usually curl your hair. That's what's so funny about it. I was like, oh, we're gonna curl it after we do the rollers. I don't even wanna curl your hair anymore.
It doesn't need it.
No. We're gonna spray just a little bit of an oil, super light, gives it a nice little shine, sheen. But this is the final look. So good.
I love the little face.
Yeah.
Framing too.
Yeah, it adds to it. It makes them full too.
Yeah.
That's the other, because those things get wispy real easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is amazing.
I love it.